Okay. We'll continue our conversation with obsessive behaviors and related aggressions and angers. How do you recognize which behavior to address in ourselves and in our children, and which behavior to let go in ourselves and the children? That's a big question, isn't it? Many times, parents come to me and they say, particularly in the last 1.5 years, where everybody is at home, many of them come to me and say, uh, they list out from the morning to the night what are the difficulties and the obsessive behaviors that the children go through, and they want a solution to make it immediately all right. So that is why the whole series that we are doing from July, when we reopened onwards, I mean, now is to work on yourself first, to see how difficult it is to change a habit, how difficult it is to make ourselves calm down, and then to expect the children to do it right away and change the whole life. The whole day they have to be perfect. They cannot even have one problem. So that expectation has to go. We have to find a way to coexist with each other, coexist with some parts of obsessions with each other, and some parts of healing can happen. So, how do we recognize what works and what is harmful? If a particular behavior is bringing the child joy and not coming in the way of others' lives, and particularly the child's behavior is causing certain major disturbance if interrupted. These are the three conditions under which we allow the child to have the obsession. What is that? If all the three conditions exist, then we allow the child to have that obsession. One is it's bringing a lot of pleasure to the child. The second is it is not coming in the way of our life. He is not harming us, or it is not a major problem in the family, other than the emotional disturbance that happens to us. If the child's obsession is not harming us, and the third thing is, if you stop that behavior, if it results in a certain aggressiveness and a discontented sadness or anger, then these three conditions are being fulfilled, then the behavior be. Are you understanding what I'm saying? You do not try to change the behavior if if all of these three conditions are met. Suppose one of these three conditions are really affecting our lives, in the sense that the child is not getting pleasure out of it. He or she is deeply disturbed by that behavior. Then we help the child to come out of it. Or in a second manner, he is harming us, or he is harming the family members. If there is a situation like that, then we definitely have to um, encourage the child to overcome that difficulty, and we have to be the support system. And thirdly, if the child reaction to stopping the behavior is way beyond the scope of what is happening, in the sense, if there is a small behavior discrepancy, and when we try to stop, there is a small disturbance and then he's changed his behavior, that is okay. But if it is converting himself into a major meltdown or aggression, then that becomes a major problem. So these are the three conditions that we have to remember. How to work with the children, we will go as we go along. But to everything that we do for the child, the foundation has to be our own peace. We cannot help the child to change when we scold the child, or when we are judgmental about the behavior of the child, or when we are defending the child to the family, right? You're ashamed of your child's behavior and you are trying to explain it away to the family. That is not going to help. These three conditions, how to help, we will come to it as we go along this week, later this week. Okay? Yeah?
Okay, Nandini.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Good.
Yeah, any comment? Anita, lots of bubbling there, I can see.
Now let me listen to the whole thing.
Yeah. Because I don't want to
go,
go.
ma'am.
Ma'am?
It's like one behavior is this at one time you seem to you see them having a pleasure out of it, and another time the same thing, like it seemed to be irritating them. It's different at different timings, and at one time it doesn't matter for us, like if they spend that much of time and that activity doesn't affect you. That same thing, it goes on stretching too long, and at a certain time you can't have that leisure of letting them do that for that much of time. So it kind of differs all the time now. So
I would like to answer you. Even though this is not a question, very valid point. Everything intervention that you do, it's in the now moment. You cannot, what has happened before, you cannot correct it now with your talking. And what is going to happen, you cannot stop it now. Now, what is happening, only that you can correct. So, different times, different behaviors, the same behavior is bringing pleasure, let it go. But if it is bringing disturbance, then intervene. Everything has to be done now. And to be alert and aware of now, then we have to be on top. We have to be the most beautiful piece. We have to embody that. If we don't embody that, we are going to go down the drain with our child or with the family members. So everything has to be now. And that is why I am repeatedly telling we have to work on ourselves. Why do I go on be saying breathe, 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 breathe and make it all right. Breathe and bring yourself back to your body. It is because of that. So every intervention is now. There is no prenuptial agreement with our child, and there is no divorce. There is no divorce. If you look at it as a relationship issue, you don't agree. Niyo nanu agree paninde chamatha irukonu, that doesn't work. And also நீ அப்படி பண்ணிட்ட அதனால நீயும் divorce, அதுவும் work ஆகாது. The only thing that works is now, where we are, we can help. And that help can be possible only when we are embodying that peace. And that is why the children's presence in our life has forced us to look at our breathing, to look at our health, physical health, to look at our mental health. If the children were okay and they are not with us, then why do we take care so much about us? Because we are worried about our child. And if we fall sick, the child is not having the tools to call a hospital or a police or emergency or a neighbor. That is where we fall into the trap. That is why it is important to maintain good health. That is why it is important to maintain an emotional stability. That is why it is important to know how to breathe. If you don't know how to breathe, how will you teach the child how to breathe? in a situation of crisis. So now is the time. When it is happening is the time you can help, but that help is not something that can come out of worry or anger or frustration or judgment, because that is what the child teaches us.
Yeah, that way it's less stressful for them also.
Yeah.
But they are allowing them. Another worry for me is like, doesn't that become habitual, and it's
See,
more
again, you're in the
difficult for
future.
them?
You're looking at the future. You're worrying about the future. What happens in the future is not. We cannot do anything about it. Only now, what is happening? You know,